Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh and I am just another Josh. Today we're going to be talking about the Steve Jobs autobiography by Walter Isaacson, and honestly, why you should read it in 2024. Should you? Well, I just said you should, so I'm here to talk about why. The video off by saying that yes, I am a bit of an Apple fanboy. I have a MacBook, I have an Apple Watch, I have an iPhone, and I do think they are great devices. Do I think they're the best in the market? No. But the ecosystem is just so easy to use, and it's just, I want something simple that they work for me, and everybody has their opinion. But putting that aside, if you just look at this book from a totally neutral standpoint, it's crazy what Steve Jobs did in his life and just the amount of stuff he accomplished. There was times where I didn't want to stop reading because I wanted to know more. And just, I think Walter Isaacson's writing is really good. I'm looking forward to reading the new Elon Musk book as well. That I just picked up by him as well, and we'll do a review on the channel here with that. But it's just really well written. So one of the first takeaways from this book that I think you will get when you read it is that there's a lot of interesting facts about Steve Jobs I didn't know. I didn't know that he helped start Pixar. He had a voice in Toy Story, the original one, and the characters. I didn't realize that he actually was kicked out from Apple and then invited back in years later to help reboot the company and make the iPhone and everything like that. So I just found those stats crazy, how far the reach of one man has gone. Another thing I thought was really cool with everything was that he actually kept Apple from being able to kind of play in others' ecosystem on purpose. And that's still something you see today with a lot of Apple products, and just a lot of cool little facts, little pop culture facts that you didn't realize Steve Jobs had a hand in. So I think that's a bit of a cool thing to start off with. So reason number one why you should pick this book up is if you were into marketing and advertising or entrepreneurship, this book has so many tidbits and just fun little things and quirky things that Steve Jobs did that you will totally love and pick up on. His marketing, if you look it up on YouTube, his 1984 campaign for, I think it was the Macintosh, crazy. Just he had a hand in all of the marketing and all of the campaigns, and he was always willing to push the barrier with stuff like that. I remember growing up seeing some of these campaigns on, school walls or just out at the shopping mall, and they've stuck with me. So that has to mean something. So definitely, if you're into marketing, advertising, entrepreneurship, it should be one of the first reasons why you think about getting this book. Second takeaway, or the second reason why I should really think you should read this book, is that Steve Jobs just didn't care what people thought of him. He had a vision, he had a goal, and he didn't care kind of what he had to do to get there. And sometimes it shows in the book that's a great attribute, sometimes it shows it's a horrible attribute. But he didn't care what people think, and he just did his own thing, and he honestly just wanted what he wanted. He accomplished his goals. Didn't matter what people thought of him. He was a bit of a strange and a quirky man, but he marched to the beat of his own drum. So I found that really inspiring. And another reason you should read it. So takeaway number 3, why you should really consider this book. And it just goes to show that nobody is self-made. No one makes it to where they are by themselves. Steve Jobs had a lot of help, whether that be from his partner, the other Steve, who helped make some of the first MacBooks and some of the first the Macintosh computers. To even Bill Gates at one point was willing to help Apple and help Steve Jobs. So everybody thinks that people are self-made. They're not. Everybody needs help along the way, and this book does a really good job of kind of showing that yes, Steve Jobs was the genius and kind of the man behind things, but it's not just one person. It's a series of people, and sometimes even good luck and fortune that'll help you get there. Another great takeaway from this book is that it says to just follow your passion and the money will come. And I know that's such cliche advice, especially coming from a guy starting a YouTube channel, but Steve Jobs he followed what he thought was right, and he didn't really have to worry about money, which might be nice. And again, he might have been lucky in some ways, but he always said just follow your passion and the money will come. And just always the entrepreneur kind of questioning of how can I fix things and make things better. And I think that's a big takeaway from this book as well, is he looked at things and was like, how can I make this better? How can we fix things? And it was just really cool to see kind of how his brain tinkered and how kind of how, what made him tick. And lastly, one of the big takeaways from this book was to make time for your family and friends. Steve Jobs had a daughter that he did not see for the first part of her life, and they had kind of a strange relationship from his first marriage. And in the end, he even, in his last days when he was dying of pancreatic cancer, even said, I wish I would have been a better father. I wish I had made more time for my family and friends. I believe he worked right up until he died. And he says it a few times in the book that he would, had some regrets on not being there for certain things or not being a family man. So that definitely was a big, I think, takeaway from this book as well, is chase your dreams and everything, but make sure to make time for the people around, because having all this stuff and all this, success, what is it if there's no one around you to share it with, right? So that was another big takeaway from this book that it really hit home. If anybody follows Stoicism, memento mori, we all die. And that is a big theme in Stoicism. And just hearing, one of the most successful, wealthy men in the world, at the end of the day, he got, a disease that he couldn't beat. So just remember that you're immortal. Remember that, make time for family and friends, because success, again, is nothing without somebody to share it with. All right, so that's just some quick takeaways on why I think you should still pick this book up in 2024. I got this from a thrift store, I think for $5, maybe. Even that's pretty high for a thrift store, maybe $2. And honestly, I was a little skeptical. I was like, it's kind of an older book. It came out in 2011, so it is an older book, but there's still a lot of great values, a lot of great things to learn from it, and definitely look into it. And if you like the video, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let me know in the comments what do you think of this book. Have you read it? What were your takeaways? I haven't watched the movie. Maybe that's next on the list, but I really liked this book, so I don't want to ruin it with watching a movie and kind of, blurring the vision of it. But anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.